My name is Megha Iyer, Associate Editor of B2B Purchase, and I welcome you on for an interactive procurement series on building a sustainable future with green construction materials. I invite Ms. Ria to introduce the panelists and to moderate the session.
Thank you, Megha. It's time for panel discussion. Therefore, I invite our panelists and Ms. Megha to join us.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you, panelists, for such a knowledgeable session. Mr. Chirag, I would like to start with you. You mentioned about sustainable practices. So, how can we reduce waste and increase efficiency in the packaging process of construction materials?
So here in packaging industry, we believe the packing triangles like it is first analyze your material. Based on the material analysis, there is a selection of the dosing where your product get packed and your bag. These are the three key important factors for the complete packaging process. Our own R&D center in Vadodara, where we analyze these three factors before suggest any solution for the packing. Now, if you have a complete information and you have a right packing machines in your plant, then you can reduce your product loss. You can reduce CO2 emissions, clean bags from your plant to the end user. This powder spillage there you can prevent for the complete supply chain. We are very focused on this matter as far as packing of building product or powdery products are concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Chirag. Mr. Avijit, you mentioned about sustainable materials and practices. So I want to ask you is, what role do you think that the biodegradable or composite materials play in the sustainable construction materials and building materials?
Biodegradable materials directly cannot be used as a source for energy in burning of in replacing coal. Now, also some biodegradable materials, their ash has found a very good usage in manufacturing concrete. Now, bagasse is nothing but it is, the dry product that comes out after removing all the sugar from sugar cane. Now, this material is again biodegradable and creates again problems. It cannot be fed to the animals, it has to be used in some other way. So it is burnt to get energy, and after that, this ash which is there, it has been seen that it gives much better strength and is helping us to make more durable concrete.
Thanks, Mr. Avijit.
Thank you.
Mr. Rajiv, you in your presentation, you mentioned about the temperature, humidity impacting the structures. Can you highlight that? How are they impacting, like the factors like temperature, humidity, and rainfall, impacting the effectiveness and the withstanding capacity of construction chemicals and waterproofing on concrete structures?
Whenever any construction material is exposed to the temperature changes, it either expands or contracts. So a lot of stresses are generated into the concrete structures. If we take example of Delhi NCR or northern region, where temperature changes are too much. In winters, temperatures are varying from 2 degree to maybe 20 degree. In summers, from 25 degree to 45, 47 degree. That is very common. So there is a huge temperature variation that leads to the lot of expansion and contraction into the building materials. So that expansion and contraction leads to a lot of stresses, which ultimately results into the cracks into the concrete. Through these cracks, water and many pollutants and contaminants penetrate into the structure, reaches to the reinforcement and starts deterioration. This corrosion of the reinforcement. So that ultimately affects the durability and load bearing capacity of the structure.
Mr. Avijit, coming back to you, how does these temperature factors impact the quality construction materials and the sustainability aspect?
Temperature, plays a very vital role right from the word go. So let us say during the construction, means once the structure is done, once the structure is built, then the temperature rise and drop, leads to a lot of expansion and contraction stresses. As a construction industry that we face is handling a material which has the lowest shelf life, and that is concrete. Other than concrete, there is no other material, which lasts, lesser than 3 hours. So the first challenge that comes in maintaining it in a good shape for 3 hours is the temperature. When the temperature is high, we get a problem of concrete not lasting even for 3 hours. We have to work with, materials which can make us last the concrete for more than 3 hours. And again, it becomes kind of unsustainable because the temperature higher is not the challenge. The temperature higher, yes, we do have solutions. But the challenge is variation in temperature. The temperature throughout the day, right from morning till evening, it keeps on changing. Construction projects in Jammu and Kashmir. So cement, it does not set. So cement, it will set up to -9 degrees Celsius. -9 degrees Celsius is the temperature. In that environment, if you're making concrete, somehow or the other, it is going to set. That is an enough activation energy. But when the temperature goes below -10 degrees Celsius, cement will never set. -10 degrees Celsius is close to the activation energy required for cement to start a reactiveness. An extra expenditure of energy in manufacturing those products, transporting those products, especially from a different factory at a different, altogether different location to that project site where, cement is coming from other source. So these are some of the challenges associated with manufacture of concrete with respect to temperature.
For addressing that. Mr. Chira, what is your analysis? Because you have been absolutely dealing into the packaging of these materials where you primarily go through these temperature variations. So what is your experience and analysis?
As far as packing is concerned, yes, in India, we could not face challenges in particular the product because there is a different kind of material like carbon black and all where it is a pack on rather than 80 or 85 degree. There we have to take care of special executions. But for building products and construction material, up to 70, 80 degree, it is not an issue. Your bag selection is also very much important. If your bag's moisture protection features or your bag is suitable for withstand against humidity, moisture, then it might be problem. In some of the cases, we got a complaint like they're forming the lump on a product when they open the bag, material is not good in shape because the bag is not right for their product. So in this way, we can say that we have to take care of all the factors together.
Mr. Rajiv, coming to you, uh, construction chemicals are usually worn out also. So, which sustainable ways are used to dispose of the construction chemicals once they are out of its capacity? And how do you ensure that it is done in an effective manner without harming the environment or the people using it?
Big challenge for the construction chemical manufacturers. Storage and handling, both things are very important. All construction chemicals shall be stored within given or recommended conditions in terms of exposure to temperature, exposure to humidities, and exposure to sunlight. So maintaining temperature is very, very critical while storing the chemicals, especially if we talk about acrylic chemicals, epoxies or polyurethanes, various kind of technical mortars, grouts, vipro concrete. These needs to be protected from water and moisture. So all these needs to be taken care of while storing these chemicals. But at the same time, there are various situations when construction chemicals gets expired or gets wasted. So proper disposal is very, very important. But as a construction chemical manufacturers, whenever it comes to our notice, or if any chemical which is related to us and has got expired or has having any issue, we generally call it back. And there are some authorized agencies which can dispose of in a proper recommended manner. So it is always better to follow that channel.
Mr. Chirag, what is your take on this? How do you manage the waste or the waste disposals at your end, at your facility?
We should be responsible for our environment. This is the first thing. And the foremost thing, either is a construction chemical in liquid form or in the powdery form. So And yes, now we could see many multinational company coming out with the innovative ideas. Like if you use used bag, they can pack back, and there is a one dedicated agency who are responsible to have a complete disposable of your cement bag or your construction chemical bag. So company itself is taking care of uh, recycling process by themselves. And yes, it is very important with this rapid growth. Some things has to be changed. Something has to be implemented on recycling level.
Thank you, panelists, for sharing your experiences and analysis with us and for such a wonderful knowledge sharing discussion on today's topic. It's now time to close our today's session. Jia,
Thank you, panelists, for exchanging your valuable thoughts on today's topic, building a sustainable future with green construction materials. We hope you have enjoyed it. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank our distinguished panelists, Mr. Chirag Gundegira, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, and Mr. Avijit Chaube. B2B Purchase is available on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also download our app from Google Play and App Store. We would request our viewers to stay tuned for future interactions. With that, today's interaction has now come to a close. Thank you and goodbye.